Oh, man, that was kind of weak. Let me try that again. Hey! Yeah, that's better. What do you think, Kel? What do you think?
There you go.
That was better, was it? Oh, man. It seems like forever, for some reason, since last time we did a podcast.
It does, doesn't it? It has been so... Were you like so busy?
Didn't we do one last week?
Yeah. And it was...
That's what I'm saying.
I have been so slammed this week that it feels like it was a month ago.
Yeah. I like when you came in, you seemed like you were a little frazzled.
I was listening to something. I had something in my head. So yeah,
there you go.
I was having to concentrate on that.
Yeah. You made some sort of comment too. Like you're like you there was something somebody
did I
said.
say something?
You said something and then you were like you were not in agreement with them. Let's put it like that. So welcome to episode 41 of What's the Matter podcast. I'm the G-Man, and with my co-partner in crime, the beautiful Kel, and we are broadcasting today live from the Matterhorn studio right in Reno, Nevada. Yeah, so as always, sometimes we do remote stuff, but who knows what's going to be going on this next year, Kel. This is going to be some crazy stuff, so... I always check in with you. So, like, number one, so everything's okay with your water heater? You're not taking cold showers?
Nope.
Right?
Nope. All good.
You haven't had any kind of major technology crashes or anything like that? Just annoyances, an occasional annoyance?
Typical enshittification problems. But my devices themselves are healthy.
Damn it, Steve Jobs.
No. We can't keep blaming him. He's long gone.
That's true. But episode 41, we are going to do What's the Matter with Stars. Changed it up a little bit the last minute. I don't think you minded too much, but just to remind everybody, the format of the show, basically no politics, no religion. If the conversation somehow, some way does delve into those things, we try to find a quick off ramp. And but this show, of course, is about tell me if you don't agree, Kel. I think that's about curiosity. Right?
Absolutely.
And of course, we love going into different parts of history, going back and kind of referencing. We just did that last week. That was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Did you like that little anchor in reference to, even though you didn't, that's not your favorite band, Led Zeppelin.
But, right.
I'm always into music. I mean, what's the message? What are you guys trying to say?
Exactly.
So that's why I picked that. That aligned with what we're talking about. And of course, we really love getting into human psychology, personal meaning, things like that. We got a bunch of life coaches kind of in our circle. And so it seems to, of course, I think it's a benefit, that bleeds into the conversation that we have. So. You still having fun?
I am having a blast.
Episode 41. You don't want to divorce me yet?
Oh my God, no.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay. I got to check in every 6 months.
No. All good. That's a good idea, though, in relationships.
Yeah.
Like, kind of do a little 6 month, hey, everything's still cool, anything you need to talk about, anything you need to bring up. How about you? You feeling the same way? You doing all right?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Giving you what you need and...
there's got to be a point of no return. Sooner or later, somebody's going to go, Ethel, it's been, 57 years, man. Okay, you don't got to do that every 6 months, But I think what would happen...
the longer it goes, the more important it is.
I started to say, I'll bet if something like that happens, she says, okay, I just won't do it. I'll bet he misses it. If she cut off the 6 month thing after 57 years, he would miss it.
Yes.
So then the question is, would he admit it?
There you go.
Better buy some flowers, take her out to dinner. Something like that. All right, so let's do, as we always do, or we try to remember to, and give a quick shout out to our sponsor, World Matters Incorporated. Of course, the creator and producer of the show, Big Bongo Productions. And so today, and of course, I got to remember, 93.7 FM. If you guys are driving around, tune that in, radio dial, check out their family of shows. They got some good stuff there.
Yeah, they do.
So anyway, let's I don't want to, of course, talk. Well, we will. We're going to primarily talk about astrology, but kind of wrap it around stars, and who knows where the conversation is going to go. But I'm going to talk about you. Of course, you're kind of especially related to me. You are an expert in astrology, and so we'll talk about what it is, what it isn't, and I'll, who knows? Who knows? I may be a goofball. You never know when that's going to happen in anything that we're talking about. So, but I can't guarantee it. I think maybe we should charge extra for that somehow. We got to figure that out. But, astrology, what it is, what it isn't. Is astrology insight? Is it entertainment? Is it a mirror? Mirror. God, I was lazy on that enunciation. Is it a
mirror?
Map? Yeah, mirror. You know, I was thinking it's a southern hospitality. But tonight, or it's not night yet, but we're separating the signal from the noise again as far as astrology versus astronomy and stuff like that. So let's get this kicked off, Kel. What do you think?
Sounds good.
And so let's first visit astronomy.
Okay.
And so I think the general definition of that, what I was able to wrap up, it's a scientific study of celestial objects, right? As far as the measurement, the physics behind them, observing them over, time. Astrology is symbolic and, kind of
archetypal, metaphorical
type of objects. I mean, those sky cycles, and it's a language, right? That's what I was kind of struck by. It's a different kind of language because we were talking about last week about the patterns, right? Even though our landscape and our environment changes, the patterns, our human patterns, especially related to the systems that are in place, they are, the same.
That's all astrology is.
The same. Really?
It's patterns.
Okay.
It was originally came about because of agriculture. It was used for seasonal tracking.
That makes
and
sense.
Time, and how it devolved into this predictive pseudoscience is much more recent. It's really not a thing. I mean, you can come up with lots of different ways to make it fit what is, and kind of coincidentally stuff will end up syncing up, but what it really means or what it, that's up for debate and always has been and always will be. It doesn't predict anything.
But that's what makes it fun, though.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. And that, I mean, really what it's good for is to make you think.
Right.
To make you think about patterns, think about traits, think about relationships, and how they work. But like anybody taking it as straight gospel or actual accurate prediction is delusional. It's not.
What do you think about this as far as clarifying? So astronomy tells you what's happening in space, and astrology kind of claims what it might mean for people, right? And so, based on the different, constellations and the positions of these different stars and planets and things like that. I mean, is that kind of a clarifying, type of statement there, that astronomy tells you what's happening up there, but
astronomy
astrology
is
claims
science.
What it might mean for people.
I can agree with that. Astronomy is the science, like you said, of the study of space and celestial bodies in it. That's a lot of math. A lot of.
Why'd you say it like that?
Geometry. Like a lot
it's like of exasperated. There's like a lot of math.
It's complicated. It's very complicated, and we still can't 100% say we know
for sure
in a lot of cases. But it's it's a lot of math, measurement, temperature, velocity.
Well, and that's
that
again,
kind of
all our entire universe is all about a transfer of energy of some sort.
Right.
Up there, here,
and measuring how we measure and harness it
entirely, which is a fascinating subject in itself. But yeah, okay. So moving on, let's look at some kind of historical. We just did a good segment last week on a little historical jump back in time. So let's do that, but let's go back further than 100 years. Let's go way back. Let's go back into ancient times, 2,000 years or before. Well, let's go like 4,000 years. Okay. So 4,000 years. And again, we've had a segment on Van Doniken, ancient aliens, chariots of the gods and things like that. So all different parts of the globe back then, 4,000 years ago. Of course, you had your different cultures. That's what makes it fascinating, right? You have these different cultures, and then later on we found out that as far as having somebody that interpreted the stars, the forefarming in agriculture, right? Especially, right? They didn't really, did they call it a season? Or did you have somebody that was kind of like one of the elders in the village that had, hey, it's, time for you guys to.
Yeah, I don't know that they actually called it the word seasons, or if they referred to it. It was more, there was a lot of metaphor, a lot of descriptive, adjectives for the time passing. But I don't know that I'm not sure when it actually became like, okay, this is spring, this is summer, this is fall, this is winter. This is what we're going to call it. Here's the system we're going to use to delineate it. I'm not sure when that came about.
Yeah, check out when the sundial, stuff like that, when that was made, which of course that was way much closer than 4,000 years ago. I do know that. So that's actually a good reference. It's like find out when the sundial was invented, and then imagine that before there's had to somebody or a small group of people had to be kind of like the village sundial.
Right. Well, that's it. I mean, there were people in the tribes, that were responsible for that tracking and documentation and,
Right. And which is, again, is fascinating stuff, because how did you learn that?
Right. Yeah,
it's
watching
some angel or a watcher or something, again, extraterrestrial. Who knows?
Yeah, was the information
was it their own device
given, or did they figure it out?
Exactly, which is, again, fascinating. So but anyway, so historically the shared roots, thinking about when even back then when you look up into the sky, now we know what they are: stars. What's the matter with stars?
Mm-hmm.
But they would do that, and they would wonder, what is that heavenly sparkle?
Right. The blue kachina, the Hopis call, and they would call it, names of things or people, or yeah.
And then again, fascinating stuff. And then when there's, of course, strong evidence, let's put it like that.
Oh, interesting. The word season entered the English language around the 13th century. Original meaning derives from Old French saison, sowing and planting, and the Latin sessionem, sowing.
So there was a lot of again, seasonal interpretation that, hey, the weather's going to be changing, certain regions of the world.
Yeah. So like 1400s.
And again, a lot of stuff, back then, as far as the ancient aliens could be. And again, that's what I guess in the book, not to make the show about that, but what made sense is that if there were crafts that came from the stars, of course, you don't even know what the stars are. You don't know what's out there. You don't know about atmospheres, meteorology, anything like that back then.
Yeah.
So you just fall to your knees and hope that this god or this gods don't kill you or your family. You're just scared. Do you see what I'm saying? You would, if those situations did happen, if they did occur, you can only imagine that kind of scene makes sense all over the world. So
we've been tracking seasonal shifts for over 25,000 years.
See, there you
cycles
go.
And bone markings.
There you go.
Formal calendar-based delineation matured in the West with the Romans.
I love it. So that's good stuff right there. So a very, very long
Julian
time.
calendar.
Now, so what? I guess we're trying to contrast today. What I want you to kind of play with, Kel, is this divergence.
Oh, get this! In ancient times, astrology and astronomy were the same science,
right?
Providing a framework for organizing time.
Because it's like we know everything, so you guys believe us. You see what I'm saying? So whatever they said went. There was no discernment.
I'm not sure about that.
I don't know.
I think we think people were like a lot more primitive than they really were. I mean, compared to the modern conveniences and equipment we have today, we're more advanced.
Right.
But as far as like developing systems from nothing, these people were damn sophisticated. Yeah. They may not have had like the ability to communicate linguistically like we do, or
I understand.
But I mean, when you think about,
depends on how far you go back, because again, there's always you're going to identify, especially the smaller the clans or the tribes are, you're going to identify the smartest dude in the village, right? And so
sure.
there's going to be a tendency to, as long as
but
he doesn't.
they stayed more primitive because they didn't have the numbers to build.
Right.
You know, I mean, like societies came about because people came together in greater numbers
Right.
and had the strength of, multiple, many, many, many men who, know, constructed everything.
Yeah.
But the smaller tribes couldn't do that. They didn't have the resources. They didn't know how to combine resources. They didn't know how to find more than where they were in their little element.
Yeah.
So, everybody coming together in larger and larger groups, more centralization or more, citification, if you will, it makes sense that systems would have to come about. I mean, that's what creates the need for it. Is
right. The advancement of civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we'll be talking about kind of like this divergence, basically, as you alluded to, between science and symbolism and the different interpretations along the way. Because even nowadays, right, science still moves on. Things that, say, for the last hundreds of years, now they find out quite frequently that, hey, we thought this, now this is not what we thought.
Right.
Even cholesterol.
Right? Eggs are good. Oh, now they're bad again. Oh, eggs are good again. Eggs are bad.
Figure that out. But the modern reality is that our modern reality, again, what you were talking about a little bit earlier, is that astrology nowadays, it's a cultural, type of phenomenon. Pseudoscience, again, you referenced that term.
18th century, it turned into a pseudoscience.
Yeah, why don't you quickly define pseudoscience?
Pseudoscience is, let me get an official definition.
Yeah, that's basically, it's like not an official science, but it can't be completely disproved or something like that.
It's a body of belief,
right,
that has that there's enough of a group around it that buys into it that it seems plausible.
Right, exactly.
But
that's a good one.
It's not real. It's not provable. It's not falsifiable. It's not provable. It's not testable.
Yep.
That's where the woo woo comes. That's where the whole witchy woo new age
of faith.
Yeah,
you got to have a leap of faith sometimes.
And it's basically part of the new, quote unquote, the new religionization of spirituality.
Yeah. But basically, it's not a scientific.
It's not
prediction.
science.
It's not.
It doesn't follow scientific method. There's no validation. There's no. Science is a very specific thing, and how we go about proving things. Yeah. There is a scientific, literally called the scientific method.
Theory, hypothesis.
And most of us don't even know what that is. So we think we know, proven things that have never even been really looked at. But pseudoscience consists of statements, beliefs, or practices that claim to be scientific or factual, but are inherently incompatible with the scientific method.
Yeah. So the scientific community doesn't like pseudoscience things.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
And the pseudoscientific community doesn't like hard science.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a, now, and then there are some in the middle, kind of like the Neil deGrasse Tysons and the, people like you and me who are like actively looking into both sides, not debunking either, not dismissing either, not accepting either.
Yeah.
But going, okay, what's really here?
No, I like Neil. But there are some things that
some
just
things
can't push.
Wrong.
You can't push him off of.
No, he's wrong. On certain. I won't say he's wrong. He oversimplifies.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's his audience. His audience wants a quick, easy button answer, so he just breaks stuff down to like the lowest common denominator of the beginnings of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But he's not. I mean, I won't say he's wrong on a lot of it. Some he is, but all of us,
He can professionally be condescending.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
I love it.
Me too. Like, because it's like, does he know what he just did to him or her? You know what I mean? So,
I love it when he does it. And
very confident.
Yeah. Especially when he's absolutely right. I mean, there are some things he nails. Oh, absolutely. And I think he's probably a really nice guy. But I would love to have a beer with him.
Seems like, good sense of humor.
Have a glass of wine or something. Yeah. I mean, he would be fascinating to just have a conversation with.
They were talking one time about these, which I think are kind of cool, but it's kind of morbid and kind of creepy too at the same time. So they have these things to where, if you're going to be buried, they have these like pods where your body goes into it and you turn into a tree.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was talking about, they were saying, are you going to be cremated? Are you going to,
Be a tree
have
pod.
a regular funeral? He's like, oh no, man. He goes, forget that burning stuff. He goes, you're not going to burn me up. He goes, put me in the ground, let the worms go at it. He goes, I want to, contribute back into the.
There you go. I like it.
The farming aspect.
I like it. Yeah. Why we put corpses in metal boxes in the ground, I will never understand.
Yeah.
I will never understand that tradition. It's the stupidest thing ever.
It takes a long time for the critters to get you.
And they always do.
Yeah, eventually.
They always do. The seal always breaks. I mean, have you ever seen an exhumation?
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Well, even bones, right? I mean, you get enough time, and there are some that remain.
They'll break down.
They're preserved the right way,
Sure.
but otherwise the elements are just going to, again, energy.
Sure. And those caskets, unless you're in a crypt,
right.
If you're in a casket in the ground, the seal will break.
Yeah. Yeah, but why is that? We're going a little off topic there, but why do people want to?
I don't get it. I've never understood that.
I think that like the mummy, like they're going to be able to come back to life.
I think it must be some silly superstition
some sort of mummification.
that this meat suit has any importance whatsoever, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
I'd want a new one anyway.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. Why would you want to preserve this thing?
If I'm going to come back, it's just like, why would you want the same thing?
Yeah, since I was
Unless
a little girl.
Pitt. Adrian likes Brad Pitt. You guys like Brad Pitt. Don't you like Brad Pitt?
Nah, not really.
No, you're not.
I'm
the Brad
Kiefer
Pitt.
Sutherland.
She went crazy over him.
Yeah, she likes Brad.
Yeah. From Thelma and Louise, Brad Pitt.
I have to see that. I need to see that.
That's right. You know what?
Yeah, I need to start my list.
Yes, thank you. Start your list, because I like that idea
I
of
do
assigning you a movie you haven't seen that's iconic, and then we do a little review with you and what you think about it and stuff like that. Because I have to say, I love you very much. And you don't want to waste time. You don't want to waste your life just watching a bunch of movies and stuff like that. But it seems like these movies just have kind of, I think for most people, just kind of blended in by osmosis.
Yes, some of them are significant. I mean,
they are. That's
you
what
can't.
I'm saying.
I would never dismiss entertainment media out of hand as no, it's all bad.
Yeah.
We have had, and we in particular, Gen X, our group, we grew up in the premier era of cinematography, movie making, and effects.
Well, and that's
where
what
they
I was
actually still had to recreate it and make it look real.
Well,
now
not just that,
CGI
it's
just
like,
fucks everything.
I think it's like the movies that you're going to go down this path on.
Oh, these are all pretty
discerning.
natural. Yeah.
Well, and it's about the lessons. That's like really good movie. There's always going to be a lesson or multiple lessons in there.
And that's
somewhere.
That's what we grew up with. And that's, if you think about it, that's when society was good. That's when things were good and we were on the right track. When we were all getting inundated with that, that media that, that had a message, that message, media at the end of it where it meant something. We got off that track in the 90s, started with the cartoons. That's what ruined it. SpongeBob.
The new ones.
The original one. No,
Beavis and Butthead.
That one doesn't. That one was. It was okay.
Yeah.
That one was. They were so wrong, and everybody knew it. Nobody wanted to emulate Beavis and Butthead. You know what I mean?
Correct.
But then you had The Simpsons, and Ren and Stimpy, Bob the Burgers. What's the other one? SpongeBob. And just stupid. Like
I never really
TV.
got it.
No, we couldn't because there was nothing to get, and that next generation that came up that hadn't been exposed to real, the way media should be.
But we didn't get Looney Tunes either when we were kids. If you think about it,
we got it. We didn't get it.
Like
we didn't get the original.
I didn't know that was a bunch of stoners that would drive around in the van.
Yeah. But Looney Tunes were made for adults.
Exactly.
Those were shown as previews at the movies.
Exactly.
We got it. We didn't get that.
No,
we didn't get
that's what I'm saying.
The original.
But they would have them on the
Saturday
mornings. We would be watching all that stuff.
But we still got the right message.
How?
We still got the right
subliminally.
message. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, even consciously.
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny was the good guy. Daffy Duck was the bad guy. You could see who to emulate and what they were trying to.
That is crazy too, because Daffy Duck happens to be black.
Oh,
wow.
I didn't even think about that.
Right? Me either, until you just said it. I never looked at Daffy Duck as
he's not a bad guy, but like he was an instigator. He was was an antagonist.
But he's still black.
I never thought of it that way.
See what I'm saying?
I bet that
subtle.
I bet originally that was probably part of their subliminal.
I wouldn't doubt it. Bastards.
I wouldn't either. Well, I mean, they had blackface, and I mean,
I know
it was
but man, you know what? I still love Daffy.
Oh yeah,
that's
the whole thing.
I mean, if that's true, I love him more.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
If they were doing that,
we should probably go. I haven't seen any of that stuff.
We should check.
We should probably go back and rewatch now and see.
Yeah, rabbit hole. I like it.
See what we really pick up. Well, same thing with Wizard of Oz.
We're going to do a follow-up.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz, we didn't, the story we understood as children was much different than what they were trying to tell.
That would be fun.
Yeah, let's do that.
Going down the rabbit hole of cartoon land.
And then there's the Justice League. All of the superhero stuff we got.
Right.
Compared to the superhero stuff they get today.
Yeah. Speaking of that, one of the comic books, I believe it was the Avengers. I am 100% sure that it was the Avengers comic books. Mm-hmm. And there was how they would always fight different.
I'm
beings.
I'm DC
and stuff like that.
I don't do Marvel.
I did them both.
Yeah.
I lived in both. I mean, comic books are comic books, but yeah.
I was engaged to a guy who worked at a comic book store back when the Death of the Joker series came out.
Okay.
I had first prints of everything that came out for 3 years.
Yeah.
And lost it. My mother got rid of it. I think she gave it back to him.
I know. I wish I had kept my buddy. He still has his
hundreds of thousands.
He has
of dollars
all
worth.
of like Thor from like number 1 on.
Wow.
And I think I started like Avengers. I had a couple hundred of them, but I didn't. I think I started at like number 20 something. So, but anyway, in that series, in the Avengers back then, there were these bad guys that were called Zodiac.
Interesting.
Right. And so I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but real quick, like what could you run down real quick, like right off the top of your head, what the 12, I'm going to test you.
The signs are?
Yeah. What are the 12 signs?
Aries is first, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius, and Pisces.
You did it.
Oh, yeah. I know this stuff cold.
Well,
I've been doing this for a long time. The interesting thing about it is I've always been fascinated with it, but I did not know what time I was born until 2 years ago.
Wow.
So I've never been able to get a full chart. I can now. So I didn't know my rising sign until 2 years ago. So I'm Taurus Sun, Libra Moon, Aries North, and Sagittarius Rising, and that's one hell of a chart. That's why I am the way I am. It explains a lot if you go by the trait descriptions.
That is so cool. Oh, what time is
that time?
Oh, it is. It's like
funny time.
The first block is in. So let's do some laughing crickets here, and let me see. Let me get this set up. All right. Oh, there we go. So we're going to talk about astrology.
Okay.
Some jokes about astrology. So this one guy, he's having his annual medical checkup. His name's John. And then John asked the doctor, do you think I'll live a long and healthy life? Doctor says, I doubt it. And then the doctor says, Mercury's in Uranus right now. And then John says, Doc, I don't go for any of that astrology nonsense. And then the doctor says, neither do I. But my thermometer just broke in your ass. Okay. Well, that would hurt.
God, remember rectal thermometers?
Jesus. That doctor was on point. No pun intended.
That's funny.
All right, next one now.
I've broken more than one thermometer in my day. I used to love Quicksilver. I used to play with it.
Quicksilver.
That's another name for mercury. That's
another character in comic books too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
When I was in sixth grade science, we had a beaker that was half filled with liquid mercury, just sitting open, and we would dump it out and roll the shit in our hands and play with the balls.
Oh my goodness!
Yes.
That is crazy.
I'm very curious if any of that ever had any long-term deleterious effect. We had no idea. We had no idea.
Right.
And the teacher, Doug Bauer, his name was, never said anything, never was like, no, don't do that.
Doug.
Just sat there.
Could have killed those kids, Doug. Could have killed them.
Oh, you have got to be kidding me.
And so everybody, Mom would freak out whenever somebody would break a thermometer, and I'd be like, what's the big deal? And I'd just pick the stuff up. Like, no, don't do that.
There are some people that think astrology is dangerous. It's dangerous for your health.
Okay.
I mean, not your health, your health. But so taking astrology seriously is dangerous for your health because it has a 1 in 12 chance of giving you cancer.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, not
I like
bad.
that. 1 in 12 chance.
I would do that.
Cancer.
All right. I don't have very many. Oh, yes. This is the last one. Okay, we got time. It's kind of a little bit longer, but not too bad. So this guy, you like handsome men, right?
Oh, sure.
So this handsome guy, he fears that he may have an awful terminal illness, and thinking that if he did indeed have cancer, like he suspected, not really knowing how much treatment was going to involve and stuff like that. He thought that because he'd surely never get laid again after he lost, because he had beautiful hair. This guy was like super, super, I guess, apparently hot. I just see him as guys, but lost all of his beautiful hair. That'd be best if he go right now. He's got the doctor in 1 week, so he spends the whole week having sex with as many women as he could come across. Okay. One night stands all week long.
Okay.
When he eventually gets to the doctor's office, he's like, "What's my diagnosis, doc?" The doc asks, in reply, "Hey, what's your star sign?" And without thinking, the man replies, "Cancer." Why? But then it dawns on him what that stupid joke might, ensue for him. So the doctor smiles and said, "Don't worry, it's not what you think. You don't have cancer. I was just curious about all my patients' star signs." "Oh, thank God."
Sun sign.
Says the man, right? So I thought you were going to say something that would have been kind of ironic. But just then, the nurse who had heard everything comes in and immediately recognizing the man from a few nights before, when he was falls about on the floor. She's laughing, and she's like, it is ironic. It starts with a C, but it's crabs.
Which ties into cancer, but
it could. It could. All right.
That's the symbol.
That's Laughing Crickets for this week. Those are hit and miss, but
the other two were cute. That one was a little strange.
Yeah, kind of. I'm just trying to imagine if you found out you had a week to live, you're single. Like, what are you going to do? I think the last thing I'm going to be doing is doing what that guy was doing.
No.
Yeah.
That would be
for a
the
week.
last thing I would think of.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, kind of funny though.
It is.
All right, so, but let's get back into this list. So let's talk about Zodiac. Okay, so 12 months. So there's a 12-part symbolic belt, constellations along the ecliptic. What is that? What's the ecliptic? Constellations along the ecliptic.
That's a good question. Let's find out.
Okay. And then this is what was cool. It's all the characters, like going back to the
ecliptic or elliptic?
Ecliptic.
Okay.
ECLIPTIC.
Oh. Ecliptic. Okay.
Yeah.
That would be moon on the moon schedule.
Yep,
I bet.
And then, so they have these archetypes like we talked about. So you got the ram, of course, Taurus, the bull, twins, and everything, of course, that's associated with the Zodiac.
Oh, the annual path the sun traces against the background stars as viewed from Earth.
Yeah.
It's ecliptic.
There you go.
Got it.
Yeah, because you can...
sort of elliptic.
Yeah, because you can kind of get your telescope out and identify all 12 parts of the zodiac, right? On a clear night.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. And so, but anyway, so you got these little characters that they were, like I said, the ram, the bull, they have different powers back in the comic books, right? And so when you think about, oh, you're this, you're Aries, oh, you're Taurus, or you're Libra, or this. And so instead of it saying you have these powers, you have these kind of tendencies or parts of your personality. So it's, again, it's kind of an interesting little parallel there, but they are used to represent temperament and seasonal cycles, right? So, and then, of course, these guys, the Zodiac, and that's something you could check into. They have these a very long historical lineage, right?
Oh, yeah.
We talked about the sky cultures. And so before telescopes, they track the sky. You mentioned farming, navigation, right? Landmarks, even in the, when the wheels made and stuff like that. Now you got carts and stuff like that. If you're doing any kind of traveling, if you got navigation, it's not just the stars. You have, of course, and there's rituals that they did. Like I said, what were they called? Medicine men?
Oh, yeah.
Different doctors, priests, different like that.
Shamans.
They noticed repeating patterns, sun cycles, moon phases, visible planets. And then, here's something right here. So they would attach stories to explain these seasonal things, Kel. So where do you think these stories came from? Were they told these stories, or was it something that was fabricated from these village leaders?
I don't think they were fabricated. I think they were mythologized. I think they were, in order to translate the understanding that the elders had and the leaders down to what the villagers could understand.
Kind of a hit and miss thing.
That's the same thing with Jesus, like how Jesus talks about why he uses metaphor, because most just aren't
parables.
Yeah. And so it's the same kind of thing. I think they mythologized it and made stories out of it.
Interesting. Everybody loves a story.
To be able to explain what they were, what significance they saw in it, and how it would relate directly to the people.
Now let's skip forward in time now. So you have these early, let's call them sky watchers, right? The first observers, the ancient sky cultures, right? And then you have this synthesis where a system gets assembled, right? The Greeks, Mediterranean area, right? Earlier traditions, the Mesopotamian, Babylonian, Egyptians, certainly, put together
absolutely.
A system
Sure.
of the stars and everything. Maybe, probably better than anybody else. But this is where the 12-sign zodiac became standardized, right? During this period of time. Now talk about chart reading methods, because I have a note here that at this period of time they expanded from what was happening before, like House of the Rising Sun. Those things, those aspects, and these interpretive rules became more formalized. And so think of it as astrology became this structured toolkit, not just this mythology.
Right, not just this storytelling, interpretive, these are the patterns we see. This is how we see it playing out here. Here's how we explain it.
Decisions were made. Yes, there was a
system.
system.
Technology.
On how to manage the people in the kingdom, how and when to maybe go strike wars.
Oh, absolutely. And there's two different kinds, too. There's Vedic, which goes on the 13-month
Vedic
calendar.
I've never heard of that.
Vedic astrology. And then there's what we typically use, which is tropical. There's actually multiple. There's sidereal. There's multiple different.
You're saying 13 months instead of 12?
Originally, before the Julian calendar.
Is it still 365 days?
No, it's each day. Each month was exactly 28 days.
28 days, okay. 28 times 13.
And the Julian calendar fucked it all up.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to set it for taxes.
Julius
Caesar.
Yeah.
Created the Julian calendar.
I think I have heard of that now that I mention it probably.
Yeah, we used to go by that system.
Was that something that was done around the same time as the Nicene Council of 325 AD?
I'm not sure. Let's find out.
Yeah, find out. Houses, there's more than one house, I'm assuming, right? You always hear of the house of the rising sun.
Right.
But what other kind of houses are there? That's a question I had for you.
Each house, your planets will fall into different houses, and they supposedly have different significance of how that's expressed and what that means.
Each planet has a house? Okay.
Each house has planets.
Oh, each house has planets. Okay.
And your placements may not fall in each house. You may not have, and that means something too.
Huh. So I'm thinking again, that line "house of the rising sun." So of course were they talking about us?
That means
because
the house of your rising, of your sun symbol, of your
whatever
birth sign.
your okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what that means.
Interesting. All right. Now, while you're looking that up, again, so let's advance a little bit more. Let's go from, of course,
there are 12 houses. That's what I thought. 12 houses.
That makes sense.
Like the main.
That makes sense. Yep. And then, so now let's go to the medieval, like Renaissance.
Okay.
This period of time here. So after the Mesopotamian, Babylonians, Greeks kind of came up with this kind of system of the zodiac. Now, think about again, anywhere from say 1200 to 1600, those 400 years right there. This is kind of like it's really integrated into society. I'm talking from astrology standpoint. There was I could imagine that there was a proverbial fork in the road for a lot of people in public, kind of clashing between maybe some scientist.
Oh, sure. And religion too.
And religion.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
exactly.
Yeah. This was definitely when it started to, I mean, originally it was just a system of tracking and measurement and, patterns. But when it started to expand into, descriptions and psychology and archetypes and all that stuff, it started to threaten other established systems.
Yeah. And it noted here that in this period of time here, and it's definitely like before the 1800s, that astrology spread through Europe and the Islamic world through scholarships, right? So academia would offer scholarships to study this stuff. There was, of course, different translations going on.
There have been many different.
But they mentioned that there were actual, not legal courts. I'm assuming that it's not legal courts, but, back then in the day, they would call.
Well, you had the court of the kingdom.
Yes.
The kings had their own court.
Yes.
It wasn't like a court of law like we have. It was literally the court of the castle where people would gather.
Exactly. They would call, or they would get together and talk about astrology. But astrology is used alongside astronomy, medicine, timing decisions. You talk about planting. It's certainly used for travel, right? Planning for things like that. And over time, astronomy becomes increasingly mathematical and physical, and astrology remains interpretive, like we talked about in the beginning. And so that split deepens now as scientific methods and methodologies have improved, from that scientific approach, right? So now let's talk about kind of where we are, now. I mean, at least the modern pop astrology between the 1800s and the 1900s. After the medieval area, it became very accessible through newspapers, magazines, of course, and later the internet that we're dealing with right now. So let's talk about your sun sign horoscopes. So to me, horoscopes are kind of fun. I would
absolutely.
Yeah, I would like.
It's like reading your picking a daily tarot card.
Yeah.
Just kind of gives what it does. It doesn't predict a damn thing.
Well, no, it does. It just but it goes into, of course, the 12 zodiac signs. Say, hey, this is somebody, whoever's putting it together. I would only assume that something's like they're the ones that know where the stars are aligning.
They read a chart,
and then based on
and whatever
this
it means
zodiac
to them,
sign,
how they interpret the energy of whatever it is. But basically what horoscopes are good for are like, don't take them as gospel, don't take them as literal, just like the Bible, but use it as a touch point for that day.
Yeah.
To, it's just something to focus on.
It's kind of like if they would say, whatever your sign was, and they would say, hey, watch out for good news today, blah, 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 because this is happening or whatever. So watch out for good news. And so that person, if you say believed wholeheartedly in horoscopes, now you're going out in your day and just like, I wonder what it's going to be. I wonder when it's going to happen. And you kind of have your antenna open. And then at the end of the day, I mean, it could be, like we said, fun because just like something good's going to happen today. And since you kind of had that something good is going to happen today umbrella open, I think what would happen in that instance, you're going to pick up on stuff that you normally may not have picked up on.
Or if you don't do it,
there's a positive spin, just like, oh, that was nice for that person, to offer this. And instead of just blowing it off and not recognizing it.
Sometimes it goes the opposite way.
Like how?
Because you set yourself up, something good is going to happen today.
And then when it doesn't,
either it doesn't,
everything's bad.
Your expectation of what good is, when you get it quote unquote predicted in a horoscope, you think it's better than average good.
Yeah.
So the normal good things that happen in your day, you don't notice because you're looking for that big thing.
Yeah, it's like you.
So it can go either way.
You place this bar somewhere, and
it should make you go your way. Like it should make you open up to any little positives.
Yeah.
But typically it doesn't because we think
because we're
big.
all poo-poo too.
Yeah.
And
we have this lottery mentality.
And we're programmed. We got this
Terribly
negative.
programmed.
There's negative stuff all around us, so it's kind of hard to keep that good positive thing going there.
Yeah.
But horoscopes, did you, when you were younger, are you kind of like, where are you at on a scale of 1 to 10? With
I was deep into it when I was a kid. But I mean, I was pretty delusional about stuff like that because it would work.
What do you mean?
Like the predictions would work, or the tarot card reading would come true, or intermittently like the lottery or like the slot machine effect.
But then was it like the subjective truth, like we're just talking about, or was it
not
empirical?
Always? Sometimes
truth?
they were straight up.
Like what? What was your like most memorable one where you're like, whoa, right? Just like mind blowing, where you're just like, this shit may be true,
Oh, there have been so many over the years.
Okay.
Like I'm thinking of like, I can't think of the specifics of them, but I can think of specific times in readings, or where stuff would happen, and then
where after a while it's just like, oh, there's more reinforcement, and then you move on,
right?
Because it's nothing
enough
surprising
to keep
anymore.
me believing that there was a layer of something going on that was being controlled externally. I no longer believe that.
So what do you think about this statement right here? So again, referencing the 1900s as far as astrology goes, that astrology in that period of time became part self-help, part entertainment, part identity language with certain people.
Absolutely.
And this is also where misunderstandings grew, because people assume that horoscopes equals astrology.
Right.
Good
point.
But that is like saying a meme is a book.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Like saying
or
that
a magazine
horoscopes
is a book,
the same thing as astrology, as saying that a meme is a book. Sure. That's just no. That's like a no. Okay, so
horoscopes are part of
talk about
astrology.
that.
Astrologies are not horoscopes.
Right.
Astrology is not just horoscopes.
So they're just, I see what you're saying.
All horoscopes are astrology. All
part.
astrology is not horoscopes.
Yep, exactly. So astrology started as sky pattern observation. It got systemized in the ancient world. It traveled through the scholarship and courts and kind of societal approval. And today it's showing up in everything from deep chart work to quick horoscope type of blurbs, right? That's kind of like how it started and where we are today. So as far as horoscopes go, let's talk about those a little bit. What they are versus what people think they are. And so Horoscope is a time-based reading, often simplified into a daily or weekly guidance, right? And so let's contrast. Have you heard of like a pop horoscope, which is these like sun sign generalizations?
Oh yeah, like Cosmo magazine or in the newspaper, or like Rob Bresney, or
yeah. And then, but versus chart-based astrology, which is more complex. This is what we're talking about. You keep track of where the sun is, where the moon is.
I had a 4-hour chart reading once.
You see what I'm saying? So it can get very complex, right? And so, so here's what I want to get into as far as tools, right? So what is the good that can come from somebody that's an astrologist, and then also bad things that can come from astrology. So I want to delve into that.
Yeah.
So from what I've read, I would say that, and then you can of course offer more, but in general, that like I just did, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, saying that if it said this, you kind of say, okay, so how am I going to have fun and use this today? Right? To kind of enhance my day, my life experience, right? And so a good use of horoscopes is reflection prompts.
Absolutely.
So beginning of the day, you're having your coffee, says, oh, what's my horoscope say today? Right? So you put that mental note, and then you still have business. You have your day, right? You do your day, right? And then at the end of the day, like we talked about before, having these little 2-minute reviews as far as like filters, how do I do? And there's all kinds of different little checks while you're kind of winding down. But the same type of thing here. How'd my horoscope play out today? And sometimes I would imagine just like, there's just really nothing that I could kind of pick up on. You don't have to kind of like search.
Yeah, you don't want to
make it happen.
Yeah,
you don't want to force feed it.
Something.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, talk about that. If there's anything else, chime in. But the good use of astrology is that it can offer wonderful reflection prompts for you.
Oh, no question. It's astrology is basically a meaning-making framework. It's just it's a way, like religion, mythology, personality systems, psychology models. It can be used wisely and it can be used poorly. The effects depend far more on how someone uses it rather than the astrology itself. You know what I mean? Like the information is the information. It's how they interpret it that can make it good or bad. And so it's really good for self-reflection, identity exploration, like you said. It gives people symbolic language that kind of describes their inner experience. And, can make it a little easier to talk about tougher things maybe, metaphorically, rather than just coming out and saying, just blurting out your emotional whatever, it's baggage. A way to kind of, put it up here a little bit, not be so close to it, but still be able to express what you're trying to say about how you feel or what's going on with you. But, it's like kind of archetypal or archetypal journaling, where you can just sort of map if you're using a horoscope kind of on a daily basis, on a loose daily basis, or if you go deeper into your chart and into all 4 of your signs, it can help you, solidify your identity. It can give you some information about yourself that maybe you felt but haven't expressed, or other people haven't necessarily drawn out in you, but that you feel, that's I feel I could do that. And then you start expressing differently. But there's narrative coherence in chaotic times. People like to, use other things outside of themselves to explain what's going on inside. That's been going on since time immemorial.
That was kind of stories. Like one of the next things is like, of course, there's a good use that we just talked about, but there's also a bad use, right? So fatalism.
Yeah, determinism, fatalism, externalizing responsibility,
right?
Accountability.
Excuses.
Yep. I can't help it. That's just the way I am. I'm a Scorpio. That kind of fear bait. Definitely. Oh, you're doomed if this, or you have that, or you're,
Exactly.
None. It's all just information, And then since all of this recently, within the last 20 years or so, 2 more systems have come out that use astrology with other framework systems like the I Ching and some of the other, numerology and divination frameworks. One is called human design, and the other one is called gene keys. And those are fascinating, and they delve even deeper into what the stars say your expression should be and what your key traits and stuff are.
So what's your quick, let's digress a little bit. What is your thinking on us in general being star children, right? That this planet fertilized from different star systems, right? So Sirius,
Sirius, Pleiades, Arcturus, Orion, Andromeda, Lyra, Sirius A and B. What are the other?
So what are your personal thoughts on the plausibility of that? Not to get too into a pseudo religion. I look at it as just like, well, that'd be a cool possibility.
Exactly.
That'd be a cool possibility.
It's more archetypal framework. Are you more like the Pleiadians? Are you more like the Arcturians, who are kind of technical? The Pleiadians are more love and light. The Orions are fighters.
I'm not going to get into a bunk bed and drink some Kool-Aid because some guy thinks that the mothership's going to be coming in 2 weeks.
Right. Or you're not going to sell all your stuff because Jesus is coming down to save you.
Yeah.
But I think it just like with anything else in life, it's all about a balance.
And you never know until after
we won't
time.
know. Yeah. I mean,
there's fascinating stories though about people that technically die and they
NDEs.
hover and they can see
near-death experiences or out of body.
Near-death experiences,
OBE,
right?
NDE, yeah.
That's fascinating stuff.
What that phenomenon is you get what you believe when you have one of those. So what it really is, it's your central nervous system connecting with your subconscious and spiking with all your, your neurology.
It's still a dream.
Pretty
right?
much.
You're saying, yeah.
Pretty much.
It's
not what we think. It's I don't believe.
Yeah.
I don't think there really are physical in the way we think of that, tangible external beings.
Yeah. Well, again,
that have some
think of it
invisible that have some effect on us.
Think of it like
directly.
Again, because I do believe this, that when we do
I believe in reincarnation.
I believe in, again, that transfer of energy. So that energy that's inside that keeps this animated, right? So maybe, I don't know, maybe she was temporarily stuck. Maybe that energy was temporarily stuck.
In the Bardos, in 4D. We call that the astral plane.
Yeah.
And technically, like the story goes, when this meat suit stops, the energy that animates it goes into this next area, if you will, called the fourth dimension or the astral plane, where, like,
I heard DMT gets you there.
DMT thought like that. It's where it's like the GPU. It's the processor,
right,
for what expresses and comes down what we actually experience physically. It's the middle layer in between. The source code comes through the GPU in the astral plane, which
it's like
structures it, puts it in form, and then projects it down here.
It's like your airplane terminal before you go on your flight.
Yeah, or the lobby of the doctor's office, or your foyer in your house, whatever. It's like that ante room, that sort of limbo space where things are happening, but you don't stay there permanently, and you can be there for extended periods of time or short periods of time, whatever. But
there was another little, I think it was 2, maybe max 3 seasons with Ted Danson. I can't remember the blonde actress.
Shelley Long?
No. That's Cheers.
Oh, Cheers. Which show?
This was something within the last 5 years, for sure. I can't remember. It was like on Netflix. But it was Afterlife, and they don't know, but they're actually in hell. I can't think of the name.
I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah. And so, so they did have that little waiting area.
Yes. So, and it goes by multiple names, but
they probably did that on purpose.
Yeah, the astral plane. Really
you said something, you said a term, meaning making. Meaning making, right? And so under my asterisk here of why astrology persists through all of this period of time that we talked about.
And expands. I mean, it's expanded like crazy.
How, like, first what meaning making is, and then meaning making in chaos.
Okay.
Right? Like, talk about that.
And well, like we said before, it's meaning making is like nothing. Literally, none of this means anything at all until we, as the observers, give it meaning. It's the fact that we feel and express through emotion that any of this means a damn thing. Like none of this means anything.
Well, especially to anybody else that doesn't even know us.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Right. I mean just this construct, Earth.
Oh yes. Okay.
Nothing that's going on in this plane has inherent meaning at all to anybody. Until we project down here and have experience that source code then can analyze, which is what we're doing here. It means it, like, literally it just is.
Yeah. So under why astrology persists, talk about why we need identity language and self-reflection.
Because if we don't understand, like, we get to give the meaning to whatever. And if we don't know how to do that, or, can't, if we don't feel that anything has any meaning, then there's just inertia. I mean, there's no point to anything. So I think we as humans search for that just by design, otherwise we sit here and go, well, what are we doing here? Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, that's the next thing that I was going to point out of people that are practitioners of astrology. Talk about the importance of being part of a community and having a shared vocabulary, as far as like our desire to kind of fit in.
Sure.
Sure. So is there an aspect of that you think?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's a commonality. It gives us, I mean, we are communal beings. And so, the whole point in us even coming together is to understand that meaning, express that meaning, feel that meaning, share that meaning, debate the meaning, whatever. But, that's why there's such diversity among humanity, is because the meaning is what you give it. It's all about, and what I think something means versus what you think something means could be totally different things. The point of a society is finding those things that have meaning that we agree on.
Right.
So that we can have a basic structure and foundation and framework for our activities. And then within that, we have the ability to debate the non-structural things.
Right.
The non just are what they are type things.
Now, some of the things that could go wrong is like if somebody says, and I have done this before, because I've heard that Cancers, if you're betrayed, it's like, not really vindictive, but like I'll totally flush somebody. Unless it's somebody like super, I mean, you can't. Right. You just can't
when
flush
you're done. Just
your spouse or your family members or even extended family sometimes, right? But if you could, it's just like if this is just an associate, a friend, a coworker, whatever, and then once they betray you in any way or show their true colors, I have a tendency to just like, okay, and I'll still be civil, as required.
Are you Cancer?
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
It is.
No wonder you're so sweet. Cancer. You're okay.
4 months, almost 4 months from today.
What's the actual date?
Well, I don't want to say that on the show.
Oh, okay.
Somebody that's like
somebody
personal.
Might send you a present.
That's like Social Security stuff. No, I'm a Cancer, so they can narrow it down, to a month.
June,
but I have talking about where you can go wrong is leaning on something, even though, again, I've done it before, but this phrase, I can't help it, I'm a
absolutely, that
whatever.
Declarative.
Don't do that.
No,
right? Don't do that.
People do that with all kinds of crap.
Maybe in humor.
Sure.
But don't be seriously
don't be stuck there.
Don't
Absolutely.
be stuck there,
Absolutely.
right?
None of this. I knew a guy who was like deep into like human design, and he insists because he's there. One of the delineations is called generator. Most of us are generators under the human design system. And part of the description of it is that we don't initiate as much. Like we respond to like other people's ideas, and then we come and make it happen, kind of thing, typically. And like he just like insists on, I'm passive, I don't initiate anything, and literally doesn't do anything. Like won't
he's kind of
like initiate anything of any kind. He totally misinterpreted
maybe
it.
deep down inside, he's just lazy.
Oh, totally.
And then
no
he's
question.
Just like,
it's his
hey,
excuse.
I'm going to lean on this, which is what we're talking about earlier.
He's constructed his whole identity that way.
Yeah.
But particularly with this, that was
another area that could go wrong. We've talked about confirmation bias at different times. Talk about predatory fear-based readings. What is that?
That is when somebody takes, the placements and twists it like, ooh, makes it all dramatic, and this could happen and that could happen. And,
it was like, look at worst case scenario.
Negative traits, and
gotcha.
They highlight more of the things that most people see as less desirable or negative, and like Scorpio tends to get a bad rep.
I have a little end of the block lightning round for you. So I want you to just quickly, you don't have to expand too much, but say if these statements are a myth,
okay,
or if they're helpful, or if they're misused.
Okay.
Right? So myth, helpful, or misused. So Mercury retrograde ruins everything.
Totally misused. People use that as an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
become a joke.
What is Mercury retrograde?
Retrograde is when a planet appears to be going backwards. It doesn't. It's not what's happening, but it appears to be to be going the other direction.
Gotcha.
And people, Mercury in particular, gets a really bad rap for when it goes retrograde. They say it affects technology, and your computer's going to screw up, and your phone might die, or
Gotcha.
like it's.
I got you.
Mishaps. A lot of mishaps during.
It's kind of
more prevalent during Mercury.
It's kind of like bad luck schlep rock.
Exactly, or Eeyore kind of thing,
exactly.
where just one thing after another goes. As a matter of fact, my neighbor threw that at me yesterday. Oh, Mercury's in retrograde. This is happening. That's happening. It's just one of those things that it's a little touch point, comfort point for people to throw a little bit of accountability off.
Gotcha.
Like, I can't deal with it. Screw you, Mercury.
Yeah. All right. What about this one? Is this a myth? Is it helpful, or is it misused? Compatibility
Synastry?
Is only your sun sign.
No. Oh, not even close. Not even close. Technically your rising sign is your most public expression.
So that's a myth.
It's a myth.
Yeah.
And your moon sign is your shadow. That's the one.
How do you find out your moon sign? I don't know my moon sign.
Here. Do you know what time you were born?
I was born, I think it was 1:36 p.m.
What date and what town?
I don't want to tell you. Yeah, that's like personal information, Kel.
I have to have that later in order to do a real chart.
I got you. We'll do this
we'll do it later. Yeah.
We're having beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Or if you want to write it down and pass it over to me, you could do that too.
What about this one? Is it a myth, helpful, or misused? You can't change your nature.
Oh, bullshit.
Okay.
That's an absolute lie.
Myth, yes.
Complete lie.
What about horoscopes are always vague fluff?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much?
Interpretable. They
Right.
may not always seem vague,
Yeah.
but they're always open to interpretation.
You know what? Maybe that's under the category misused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Misinterpreted, misapplied.
Ooh, I don't know if you're going to like this one. You may. Is this a myth? Is it helpful, or is this misused? Astrology replaces responsibility.
God, no. Nothing replaces responsibility.
Right.
Period. End of story. Full stop.
Exactly. Now, hey, quick, what was your, as far as your beginning in astrology, when was your first, again, I think I kind of asked it a little bit, but something to where you're just like, whoa. Because everybody's like deja vu, right? Everybody has experienced deja vu. But as far as relating to astrology, where you're just like, okay, I made this decision based on this, and it, based on this alignment or whatever, and it nailed it. Oh my gosh, if I hadn't made that decision, does anything resonate like that?
Oh, sure. That happens, but it's coincidental. I think what happens is you read the prediction or the horoscope or whatever, and if it's something you want, you subtly start moving in that direction. It gives you like a subconscious confirmation. You already wanted the thing.
Right.
It gives you a subconscious confirmation, and you start moving in that direction.
Does something come to mind where you made a decision
based
on astrology, and then you were just like,
sure.
I'm glad I did that.
I'm sure.
You
I'm
see
sure
what
there
I'm
were
saying?
times where I was like, oh yeah, see, it's but it's not consistent enough to be
Okay.
true.
Now, what did you study first? Like when you first got into astrology?
Oh, the only thing I knew was
you
the sun
into?
sign. The only thing I knew was the sun sign, and I'm a Taurus, so I've always known because I've always expressed very Taurus-like. So
Okay.
people, like when I was a little girl, it was a thing. The 70s.
Did you read
it was
about
big in the 70s?
like the Taurus tendencies?
Not initially.
Okay.
Not before people started telling me that that's how I express. Because remember, the 70s was huge for astrology. Huge.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And horoscopes in particular.
Yeah.
And so it was a big thing. Everybody was talking, what's your sign? It was a
and then
big
you get
dating pickup line.
Then
What's your sign? Remember?
The freaking Zodiac killer too.
And then
in the
Zodiac
70s.
killer,
Whoa.
all of that.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal. And I was little, and what's your sign? What's your sign would come up, and I would say Taurus, and people were like, oh yeah.
You see the reaction? So let me ask you this. So after you read about Taurus,
I totally identified with it.
and you started adapting
I
more
don't know if more so. I don't know if more so.
That's what I want you to think about.
Actually, what I did was...
Were there any new traits or habits that you took on because after...
got rid of.
Oh, you got
laziness. Laziness and sloth and gluttony.
Tauruses are supposed to be lazy?
Huge.
Huh,
and I'm neither. I'm not
Interesting.
greedy, neither am I lazy.
So
and
you became aware of some of the negative
and
tendencies,
counteracted them.
And then you were, I
consciously
like that.
counteracted them.
Because
I liked the positive ones, and those fit. Even
Huh.
stubborn.
Now you're
people would
making
say
me
you're
think.
stubborn.
Now you're making me think. See, and I've thought about that before. Like I brought up just being able to cast people away, and especially, man, when I was young, I was I would be like
that's more attachment
mean.
style. That's more attachment style.
I had no problem breaking up with girls.
That's attachment style.
You see what
that's
I'm
not
saying?
horoscope.
But I wonder if I said, okay, so I want to change that. If I said, I want to change that, I don't want to just flush people so fast. My paranoia would be that there could be a tendency then of people actually taking advantage of my good nature. And that's why I'm just like, once you show me who you are, I'm like, I don't need
that's an excellent policy.
I don't need a second preview.
That's an excellent policy. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Okay.
But that's more attachment style than horoscope. That's more of like...
attachment style.
Yeah, attachment theory is...
like who you're letting in your inner circle?
No, there's secure attached, dismissive avoidant, anxious attached, and fearful dismissive, fearful disorganized. And it's based on how you're raised. It's how you bond with people or don't. And secure, obviously, is you can relate and you can have arguments and not fall into blame and shame and all that crap that people
Well, that's interesting too, because I don't really like bonding with people. There's a definite filter. reluctance,
Mm-hmm.
testing.
Yeah. Yeah, you would be more on the dismissive.
Dismissive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Dismissive is that cut and go. When a lot of time dismissive, what happens with dismissive is sometimes when people start getting closer to you, you want to push them away and run.
But not necessarily. It's kind of like, I don't know, when somebody like proves like,
and
that
I mean, that's just normal.
like a good person.
Yeah,
like,
no, that's normal.
just like, okay, like,
that's just human discernment.
yeah. Okay.
And that's the way it should be. No,
Yeah.
that's very correct.
okay. All right.
Yeah. No, that's not mean or anything at all. That's boundaries.
So when
and
when did you realize that your love for astrology is more than a hobby?
Ooh.
Was there
It's
a
really
moment?
never been more than a hobby.
It is a hobby then. Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty
Okay.
much a hobby. Like
Okay.
I never, because I didn't know what time I was born until 2 years ago, I could never get a full chart. So I could only get so far. I tried to study it multiple times, and it's complicated. And there's a lot of language,
Right.
a lot of the conjunct and trine, and the way you talk about how the coordination between the signs and all that is very dense. And I would get into it, and then I'd come up against, I don't know what my rising sign is. I don't know what time I was born. It's not going to be fully accurate. And I would give up again because this is just too complicated. It's not worth it.
Have you ever met anybody that's like ass deep into astrology and then you're like, oh, wow, they're way out there?
I know professionals.
Yeah.
I know many
They're way out
professionals.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what do you believe that astrology is best used for?
Identity, like the kind of the way I used it, like to look at what the trait descriptions are, positive and negative, see how accurate that is to your true expression, and then make changes.
Yeah, so
That's,
it's like
to me, that's what it's good for.
A self-awareness tool.
It's a self-awareness and evolution.
We almost harmonized there.
a self-awareness and evolution tool.
Okay. What do you avoid now because it feels irresponsible? Like the things that you said that you changed for the better. What's one that you don't do or you avoid?
Laziness and greed, definitely.
And that's part of Taurus?
Taurus. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm surprised about the laziness thing because the bull.
Nope. Ferdinand. Think Ferdinand. Just wanted to sit in the clover with his little friend the bee.
Now, was there anything, say, from the beginning, and then from your study in astrology, and then what changed as you learned more?
I got deeper into my initial interest in it was predictive. I've always wanted to know everything as much as possible ahead of, like I'm just a knower. Like I need to know things. I need to know what's going on. I don't like surprises. I don't like, I like to know. So prediction has always been huge with me, going to psychics and tarot and all that before I understood really how it worked. And I would use it not in I believe everything you say and it's going to come true, blah, blah, blah. But I would use it, in the way it was intended, sort of take the vagueness and apply what I can. I wasn't trying to nail anything like, oh, see, it's true because of this happened and it's true. I never got that delusional into it, but I would kind of follow. I could understand where it was trying to lead me, and then take from that what worked and what didn't.
So if there was a person that listens to this, and if they're, say, what would you call it? Astrologically curious, but they're skeptical. Say, I'm skeptical, but, I want to kind of have an open mind. What's the best way for that type of person to explore astrology responsibly? Go online to like astro.com is it's a really good one, and they have a lot of free stuff. If you go to astro.com and start with your own chart, get the deepest one you can with as much information as you have. If you don't know what time you were born, it typically defaults to noon.
which is okay. And it's not that big a deal. I mean, you won't know your rising sign, and it might skew a couple of things, but it doesn't mess up the whole, your basic overall.
It sounds like something that's preferable, though.
Yeah. It is it's definitely preferable.
Yeah.
But it's not, it doesn't destroy your ability to get, quote unquote, an accurate reading. You just won't get certain data as exactly as you could if you knew what time. But to me, it's good for taking the descriptions of, potential events that might happen, the trajectory of certain planets can mean like times of year that are better to move or not, or seasonal. It's kind of just about seasons and time and energy. So you take the reading, you take the information you get, and instead of trying to go, okay, exactly where do everything fit like a puzzle pieces, take the vagueness of it or the adaptability of the information and apply it where it serves you.
Yeah, I like that. So now, what's the verdict? Okay, so thumbs up or thumbs down on these statements. Astrology is more psychology than prophecy.
Absolutely.
Okay,
very much so. That. Very much so.
If it helps people reflect, it's useful, even if it's not science.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah. There's so many things that aren't science that are useful.
Agreed.
No question.
Most people misuse astrology as an excuse.
I wouldn't say most. I would say many. Okay. I think a lot of people that misunderstand it and they're going to do this to anything,
right?
That they can offload,
right,
emotional labor to. So
I know you're going to do a thumbs up on this one.
Okay.
Horoscopes can be helpful if you treat them like prompts.
Yes.
That's
such a great way to put it. I do too.
I
do
like
too.
That one.
Really great way to put it.
Check this out. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Compatibility readings can improve relationships.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's
Any information.
It seems like it would take the edge off of like marriage counseling or
Absolutely.
something like that.
It can give you a good starting point to see, where some traits might.
Yeah.
And like,
or maybe even an explanation, just like that's why we're struggling so much.
Yeah, no wonder that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I just thought you were a bitch.
Right. Yeah. To me, however you get more information,
and that's her talking to him.
But no, however you gather and gain more information about a situation, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Is beneficial to me. The more you know, the more you know.
Now, what do you think about this? This is an interesting little twist here. Myth, or thumbs up or thumbs down. Astrology is mostly confirmation bias.
Yes.
In a way, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you're wanting it to be true.
You're going to want to lean towards the information that you like best, not necessarily that benefits you the most or is the most, important for you to know. But you're going to gravitate towards you're beautiful and into luxury, or you should be wealthy, or rather than.
Well, now this is a fence straddling one here, so I think you're going to like this one, because sometimes I'm asking you to go one way or the other, and you're like, well, it depends.
Yeah.
So how about this? Skeptics, talking astrology, skeptics and believers can both be right about different parts.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. I knew you'd like that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go into like using astrology as a tool, not a cage, right? You want to, again, be able to utilize these things and not kind of put yourself in a box and say, no, I can't go out because Mercury retrogrades is like after me and all that stuff.
I have known people that will do that, and I'm just like,
it's crazy. All right, so
and there's a lot of self-fulfilling prophecy in that too. If you think, oh shit, Mercury retrograde's coming up next week, everything's going to be screwed up. If you think that, you're going to notice everything that's screwed up more blatantly.
Exactly.
And confirmation bias. You know what I mean?
Now, speaking of confirmation bias, these are statements that are matters of fact. You know how people say, this is a matter of fact, this is right here. But if it's not, then you're going to talk about why not. Okay. So matter of fact, astronomy is a measurable science. Astrology is interpretive symbolism.
Yep. Exactly. That's a really good way to put it.
So we covered that. This is pretty much what we've covered for the show. Okay. Now, matters of fact, humans are pattern seekers.
Yes.
Get our warm fuzzies and stuff like that. But prompts can guide our reflection. We're pattern seekers, but prompts can actually guide our reflection.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
I think so too.
Sure. Pattern recognition is one thing, but that's all it is. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I see a pattern here. Prompts make you investigate
exactly
why, what, where, who, what, when, where, and why.
Exactly.
And what the pattern means. So you go with the meaning making again.
Now, for a matter of fact, you want to, as far as astrology goes, you want to avoid claims of guaranteed prediction.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Pretty much in any case, I mean.
Especially a sports bet.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at this point, things are so manipulatable that almost predicting anything is, you want to keep it to yourself because somebody else could come in and purposely skew it.
That's right. Now, kind of closing out here. So how we want to use astrology responsibly, right? We want to use it for reflection, not excuses. Now, talk about making sure that you keep your agency, keeping your agency about yourself and not letting
that's important.
Bleed over.
Yes, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Not letting the reader or the chart or the website or whatever tell you who you are.
Right.
It's a descriptor, and you either agree or disagree. Some does, some doesn't. It's okay. Everything there is no all one blah of anything. Like everything pretty much with stuff like this is subjective and like manipulatable, not in the negative way, but just movable. You can form it the way you want, to fit your purpose or your whatever. And that's good and bad because sometimes it's beneficial and accurate and other times maybe not so much. But to me, instead of trying to find the destination or the thing, thinking it's all just going to be wrapped up in a nice bow and concluded, just go, this is fluid. How can I apply it when I need it and let go of it when I don't? And I think we're not used to that as a society because we're so used to being, told that it's this way. This is the answer, A, B, C, and
that's preferable.
And it's preferable. It's also preferable because we don't like the unknown.
I like directions.
Sure.
But not all the time.
Exactly. So it's that balance.
That's right. So now, speaking of keeping your agency, now, first of all, would you agree with avoiding fear-based readings? And then secondly, if you do agree with that, how do people do it?
I avoid fear-based anything. Fear is fake. I mean, fear is a physiological self-preservation mechanism.
Right. Fight or flight.
Fight or flight. Yeah. It's your central nerve. Period. End of story. I mean, that's it. It's a fear is physical. And it creates the mental. And if you can learn how to regulate yourself, you can minimize fear to almost nothing. And when you're at that level, then you can operate from a much more, how do I say it? Like a much more comfortable within yourself expression, because like you know what you know and you know what you don't know and you're okay with it. You're not constantly like looking out for, somebody to tell you what to do or what's right or, you just know inside that this is how I am. This is what I know. I'm open to adaptation, but for now, this is how I'm going to proceed. And if you can stay kind of, structurally fluid like that, where you're not blowing in the wind, like everything that comes along. Oh, it's this. Oh, no, wait, it's this. Oh, wait, it's this. Oh, no, yep, you said that. It's this. That sucks. I've been down that road, and that is awful.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just confused when you're constantly looking out for other people to tell you what's up. It's confusing. Now, you can ask 10 different people and literally get 10 completely different responses. So which one is right? So you really, that's when it comes down, when it comes back to, go within and all this Taoist Buddha crap that people are just like, oh, wait, go within. No, that's all that means. All that means is check in with yourself first. What do you really feel and believe? And own that. And if it's wrong, but stay open to interpretation.
Meditating and breathing.
Yeah. Just
very good.
Meditate and breathe. And meditation, when I say meditation, I don't mean, go sit in a dark room in the lotus position chanting Om for an hour and a half. To me, meditation just means, block out the external for a minute, go inside your own head and heart and go, what do I feel in this moment? And just check in. I meditate when I'm doing the dishes.
Yeah.
Just kind of let my mind wander and whatever, know. That's all meditation is.
Yeah,
people have gotten caught up in this.
It doesn't have to be, like you said,
right.
hours.
Yeah.
Hour and a half.
People, we were so bastardized and traumatized as kids with do it right. It's got to be right. Get it right. That now we think that everything is just a certain way and there's a correct way to do everything. There's just not. Especially with this kind of stuff.
Some things, but not everything.
Some things, sure. Yeah. But with anything in this realm, the realm of the spiritual, the metaphysical, the psychological, the archetypal, none of that is set in stone.
Yeah, for sure.
Inherently, by definition.
A lot's open to interpretation.
Absolutely. And we get to interpret that. Once you're 18 plus, it's up to you. And we get stuck, we got that whole message of, respect your elders. Well, no, I don't have to respect my elders if they're not right, if they're not correct.
Yeah, if they happen to be older.
Just because they're old doesn't mean, they're better. The assumption is they know more, have more experience, and are wiser. We found out absolutely that's not true.
Yeah,
categorically, we now know that is absolutely not true.
You find out that some of your friends and relatives ain't all that put together.
Your parents,
yeah, they're human too.
When we found out at this generation, at the technological level we're at, how fallible our parents were, that was shocking.
Oh, yeah.
Because they kept trying to maintain control while we were still doing everything.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, it's this, and this. We're like, okay, yeah, think that. No, it's this, and we're just going to do it.
And the relatives, of course, they're raising, it's a cycle. Mm-hmm. Raising the way that they were raised and things like that. So
and we realize that's not always the best way.
Oh, yeah, somebody has to break it. Mm-hmm. But how about, you're going to like this phrase right here as we wrap this up. So use astrology as a mirror, not a steering wheel.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, sure.
Write that one down.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
I like that. Use astrology as a mirror, not a steering wheel.
Mm-hmm.
You could apply that to a lot of different things.
Lots of things. I was just thinking.
Yeah, but I would say again, like thinking back to again the horoscope. If I was somebody because I haven't done that in so long, I was trying to remember when's the last time I even looked at a horoscope.
Yeah, no, I don't do horoscopes.
You see what I'm saying? Either. I'm sure they have them. Every day that you can check in. But ask yourself if you're avid into that type of stuff, what's the best version of me I can practice today? Right? And have fun with that reading or whatever,
mm-hmm.
But what's the best version of me that I can actually play with this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with this new information today.
Yeah.
What's the best expression of that?
Yeah. And it's kind of like a wonderment. It's not,
curiosity.
Yeah, it's a curiosity.
Rather than
I wonder
drudgery.
Or, it's almost like instead of saying, I wonder how this is going to apply to me today, you should be asking yourself, I wonder if this is going to apply to me today. Right? And so that's not that
as
seems
restrictive.
just yes, less restrictive. That's exactly right. And you know, if this is going to happen to me today, and then it's just more fun. So
well, we all need to have more fun.
Yeah.
Like this society right now is heavy. Things are tough.
Oh my goodness.
We're at a big crossroads. People are misunderstanding a lot of things. There's a lot of bad information out there about what's really happening and what's really going to happen and all this. And everybody just needs to take a deep breath, step away from the Facebook, you know, take a deep breath, put the AI down, have a nice meal, talk to your friends, family, neighbors, spouse, whatever. Come back down to earth. We are so dissociated right now that, you know, people just can't get a hold of what's going on. And, you know, we're hearing all these insane, dire predictions and this and that and the other. Everybody just needs to relax. It's all going to be okay. You know, it's going to get worse before it gets better, but it's not going to be what people think when I say that. It's not going to be this. We've seen too many apocalypse movies. You know, we've lived through too much Cold War. It's going to be more just a kind of slow transition of things getting crappy until we finally just go, God damn it, I've had enough. Where enough of us together at that same point get there and go, okay, this is it. We're done. We're done with this. We're not doing this anymore. We're going to fix this. And then that's when, you know, I think everybody's kind of waiting. What's the worst point we're going to get to? How bad is this going to get before we all finally stop fighting with each other and fix this? Yeah. And we're getting there.
Yeah.
It's getting imminent.
Well, and no matter what, you know, we know the song is going to remain the same.
Yes.
I should have, you know, said that.
The song is going to remain the same.
To a point. I think we may skew a little bit this time.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a complete repeat.
Well, I tell you what, different times, different tools.
Yes.
Different distractions. Talk about that all the time. But we are still trying to live together, manage our own agency like we talked about, find meaning in a world that moves fast, you know, pulls hard. We're still learning how to live together, find meaning amid fear, spectacle, and systems we talked about the last few weeks. So thank you for listening to episode 41 of What's the Matter podcast show. And a big thank you to our sponsor, World Matters Incorporated, and the creator producer of the show, Big Bongo Productions. We'll be back next Wednesday at the same time, same location here at Matterhorn Studio for episode 42 of What's the Matter with Fools When Confidence Becomes Clueless. We'll explore what it means to be a fool or a foo and how it shows up in everyday life, why it happens, and how to build some tools so we don't become one. So until then, be vigilant, be kind, and always remember that what you say matters. This is G-Man for Kel. See ya.